What's up, Nephew family? Today we're breaking down everything that changed with G in Street Fighter V Champion Edition, including his balance changes and his new V-Skill 2. The first thing that got changed to him is that he now has 1050 stun, up from 1000 stun before. This might seem like a buff on paper, but when you look at it in the context of the whole game, most characters got this kind of a buff. They got like 25 health and 50 stun, so it's not really actually a buff. The next thing that changed was that his crouch medium kick actually got a lot of changes. It actually got nerfed. Um, if you look at what it could have done before, there's actually a lot more pushback on it. So where you could have gotten crouch medium kick, stand light kick before, now the crouch medium kick pushes back a lot farther. Now this isn't a huge nerf because this situation didn't come up that naturally in gameplay, but it is a slight nerf. Another nerf is that on block, it's actually -2 now. But this, along with the fact that it pushes back more, makes it not a huge deal. But a lot of G players would want to go for crouch medium kick, stand medium kick before, or crouch medium kick, stand heavy kick, and you just have to be a little more careful than you were before when doing that kind of a string. Still not a huge deal, but it can matter a little. There was a little buff to it though. If you look at it on hit, it is now +4 on hit. It used to be +3 on hit, so you couldn't combo, but now if you're really close, you can get crouch light punch or stand light punch. And if you get it on counter hit, you can get stand medium punch. So, I mean, that's not really that useful, but it is cool to know it's there. I think the biggest thing is that it's now +4. So when you get this, when they dash into you when you're doing it and you're really up close, you can get a stand jab. The next change is that crouch heavy punch got nerfed. This again wasn't a huge nerf. If we'll see over here, it's still anti-air is way above his head, right? It's still an amazing anti-air. But it just won't anti-air here. It used to be that the little tippy top of his hand would hit you from behind if you stood at this range, which was kind of broken. Like this would anti-air. But now it doesn't. But it's still an amazing anti-air, just not completely broken. Still very, very strong. Now we move on to a change with EX Fireball. It used to be that when you do EX Fireball into any sort of charge, you have to charge after the second hit. If you try to charge earlier, it wouldn't come out. So that would probably be the earliest. But now you can charge as soon as it's out there. And this is actually a pretty big buff, I think. It allows you to do things like throw EX Fireball from here and then charge right away. While the EX Fireball kind of covers you and makes you safer. So I can see a lot of G players using this as a tactic to try and get that level 2 or level 3 and then zone you out. It's still punishable, so if you know they're going to do it and you have an answer ready, definitely go for it, but it will catch you off guard if you're not ready. The last couple changes are to his V-Trigger 2, and honestly, I never used V-Trigger 2 in matches. I only used it a couple of times in training mode, so I don't know the most about it. But the biggest changes were to his command grab, and it was a little bit nerfed. It used to do 250 damage and now does 200, but the big thing is that it used to take basically your whole V-Trigger bar, and now it only takes half. It used to be that, well, I have the exact numbers here. It used to take 1500 frames of your V-Trigger timer at the beginning, and then if it whiffed, it would take the first 1500, and then on hit, it would take another 1500 frames. But now it does 1200 on the first part and then 300 on the next part. So even if it hits, it only takes 1500 frames of your V-trigger timer. It might be kind of confusing when I'm talking about frames and V-trigger timer, but as you can see, like the V-trigger is depleting, so 1500 frame is about 1500 over 60 frames per second, which is 25 seconds. So it takes 25 seconds of your V-trigger timer if you land a successful command grab. So while the damage is nerfed, it's a lot more usable because it doesn't take your whole V-trigger timer. You can use one command grab and one of these hits. It's not that the command grab is your only use of it. Now, what is Vskill 2? What is this move? Why are there 3 animations and why do they look so cool? Alright, so let's just talk about it first and then we'll see them in action. So this first use of Vskill 2 is the most important. Once you use it once, you can see your Vskill 2 in the left hand corner is glowing, which means it's activated. If you get hit when you're in this first level and you get knocked down, then you actually don't lose your level. I'm still in level 2. If you don't have that Vskill 2 power up, then you lose your level as normal. But if you have the Vskill power up, you have the level 2, you get knocked down, you lose your Vskill power up, but you're still in level 2. That's the most important part of what Vskill 2 does, but there are 2 other levels. If you look, Sweep does 90 damage, but when you power up Vskill 2 once, then the Sweep actually does 81 damage. There's a 10% damage reduction for the first level up. Next 2 level ups basically do 10% more damage reduction. So if you see me get sweeped again here, it does 72, which is 80% of the 90 damage it did before. I lose both of my V-skill power-ups, so it's not like they stack. If I get hit again and I get knocked down, then I will lose my power-up. So it's strictly for damage after the first thing. And then if I level up 3 times, I will only take 70% damage, but I will lose my whole V-skill if I get knocked down. So there it is, it's gone. And then I'll lose my power-up after losing my V-skill. Now 10% damage might not seem like a lot, but it's actually 10% damage until you get knocked down. So if you see this jump fierce, it does 90 damage, right? But until I get knocked down, I'm only taking 90% damage. It's the same thing, if I can get 3 level ups, I'm only taking 70% damage until I get knocked down. So if I just keep getting hit over and over, that's a lot of damage that I'm saving because I'm in this level. Well, is this actually that good? My theory, just from my theory crafting about how the game should work, is that the expected damage that this will save you from is not that much. In general, you're not going to be getting hit by stray hits unless you're in a matchup like Dalsim or Manat, where they're going to be sticking out buttons and zoning you out. Most of the time, a character, if they're doing damage to you, they'll knock you down. So you'll save a little bit of damage, but then you'll get knocked down and lose your V-skill. And most of the times that you're going to be able to charge your V-skill are off of things where you could have leveled up instead. So let's say I wanted to charge my V-skill. This is a safe way to charge my V-skill. Is that more worth it than just going for the level? It seems like it's not, because it'll be a little bit of damage versus a whole level. But it does protect you from one knockdown. So once you're in level 2, with your presidential meter and you level up your V-skill, then it is a protection. So I think in matchups where level 2 is your most powerful presidentiality, against some characters like Chun-Li and Birdie, where just throwing this level 2 fireball keeps them out very well. It could be a good strategy to first level up your presidentiality and then go for the V-skill power up. But I think in general, you should just level up once, level up twice, because then if you get knocked down, then you're just going to be inside level 2 anyways, and you were in level 3 for a bit, which is even better in most cases. Another thing to note is that the V-Skill charge is actually takes less time than the normal charges. So on normal things, let me move back to the center. If I do a low charge into charge, on normal rise, I'm punishable. I'm minus 14. If I do it into my meter charge, I'm also minus 14. That's punishable by pretty much every character. But if I do low rush into V skill, I'm 0. So it's 14 frames faster on recovery. So there's situations where you can charge this up and you can't charge your other presidentiality or your meter up. So we went over what Vskill 2 does, but now I want to go over the main reason that I think Vskill 2 kind of sucks. And that's because when you're using Vskill 2, you don't have Vskill 1. Let me go through some combos and we'll see a common theme here, okay? What do you guys think about this combo mid-screen? EX, back heavy punch, Vskill. That's a pretty good combo, right? What about EX command grab, heavy punch fireball, back heavy punch V-skill, stand heavy kick? That's a pretty good combo. What about when I'm in V trigger 1 and I activate V-skill, that's a pretty good combo. And especially when I have my opponent in the corner. Look at how much damage this combo does. 332. Look at how much damage this combo does. 346. But if I don't have my V skill, the best I can do after this is this. That's a lot less damage. It's a lot less stun. It makes it seem a lot less scary for the opponent when they get knocked down, and it overall makes V trigger 1 a lot less powerful. Another thing, if you're not able to use this V skill, is the fact that you don't have a really good way to build up V meter. In a match, you're going to be getting some crush counters to build your V meter, you're going to be getting hit, but a very reliable way to gain V meter is through this EX combo. Look at how much V meter that builds. You land this like twice, that's half a bar, right? You land this as an anti-air, that's half of your V trigger bar. And we all know how powerful V trigger 1 is. So the fact that you can't build it up reliably is pretty bad, I think. And when you look at the amount of V meter this builds, like that is nothing. That's not gonna matter. It's gonna take 5 of them before it equals like 1 V skill 1. And then there's just so many other uses for V skill 1 in V trigger. There's, if you throw a fireball, you can use V skill to save you. You can't do that if you're using V skill 2. You can frame trap them. You do wheel kick V skill to frame trap. You can't do that if you're using V skill 2. You can do this to B+. You can't do that if you're using V skill 2. It's just a lot of things that I feel like V trigger 1 designed around V skill 1, and I think V skill 2 just doesn't work with it. It's not really synergetic. There's no synergy there. I really feel like V skill 2 is only meant to be used with V trigger 2. Alright? I think V trigger 1, it just doesn't work without V skill 1. But V skill 2 could work with V trigger 2. And there is some potential here. You have to optimize some stuff. You have to learn how to charge. But at the end of the day, I'm still not sure if it's better than what G players have figured out with V trigger 1 and V skill 1. I feel like there's potential here, but it might not, even at the highest potential, it might not be as good as the simple combination of V trigger 1 and V skill 1. So I think if you're a G specialist, and you're looking to try out Vskill 2, definitely try it with V-Trigger 2. If you try it with V-Trigger 1, you're going to get frustrated, you can't do combos, you're going to get frustrated, you don't have like this, what's it called? The big V-Trigger 1 orb. You're not going to have this air V-Skill, you're not going to have this V-Skill, but definitely try it with V-Trigger 2 and try and see if there's potential there. If you're just trying to fight against G, or you're picking up G as a secondary character, the groundwork is already there with V-Trigger 1 and V-Skill 1, and I think it's going to end up being the more powerful V-Trigger. So that's what you should focus on. Overall, I think G didn't really change that much. His biggest changes in the meta are probably going to be to other characters getting changed. All of his nerfs were pretty insignificant. Crouch Fierce is still a really good anti-air. Crouch Medium Kick nerf, not really significant. V-Skill 2 is probably not going to matter that much because V-Skill 1 is probably the way to go. I think EX Fireball being able to charge quickly is pretty good, but against most characters they'll be able to punish, so it's still not that big of a deal. He really feels like the same character but in a different game. So it's not going to feel different playing as him, but it's going to feel different playing against other characters with him. And you're going to have to learn different matchups, and you're going to have to learn different strategies to deal with things. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Leave a thumbs up and a comment if you enjoyed it. And don't forget to subscribe for future content. It's as easy as hitting that big rectangular subscribe button. See you guys next time.